Okay, good morning. Today is day 30 for videos to explain days or thoughts in the life of me as a human with schizophrenia and to practice being on camera as a life skill. And I was gonna do a little intro to these things, and I came to the realization while writing this book that if I label myself to others, writing my book, that if I label myself to others that I'm an itty bitty writer who experiences schizophrenia, and it is a reality to be experienced. Much of it can be explained by coming into contact with systems and operations using modern technology and advanced technology. I am just a one-time semi-activist, and now I am a brain-damaged author trying to finish a book on surveillance, technology, and society and psychological operations. And I have been programmed in my mind. My mind has been programmed into a schizophrenic functioning. I'm actually the recipient of political warfare, and this is what NATO calls cognitive war, and what the former chief of Indian intelligence calls neurostrike weaponry. This has given me a condition characteristic of schizophrenia, which is more an experience with the classified or underworld of reality. So now I'll get into what I'm going to talk about today. Okay, so one of the things that people talk about, or actually doesn't get talked about a lot, but like you get persecuted when you are schizophrenic, or you have the persecution complex, and it really is happening to people. And in my case, it goes on for a number of different reasons: political speech, political thoughts, ideas, or just in my case, one of the things they like to go after me for is being fat. So they persecute you for being fat. It's like this health police, body police. And so, yeah, I'll just throw that out there. Uh, when in this thinking about the fires, um, it showed kind of the fragility of life, kind of like how fragile people's lives are. Even in a secure location like that, you can be subject to some sort of crazy thing, and a fire engulfs your house and stuff. And it's when you think about the loss of life and everything, and then you have the property, but like the loss of life is really just, it shows you how fragile we're here one moment, the next moment some crazy thing can happen and we can be gone. And so I just I was thinking about that, and it's really fragile, our existence. And so yeah, for the fires, I was gonna say this too, is that somebody is trying to make people hate me, or someone is trying to make people hate me, and that's why they did these fires. Like on the news, they were saying stuff like, "We got your back" and everything, and it's like I don't want anyone to do anything insane like that to anybody else. I actually like Pacific Palisades. I thought it was a cool neighborhood. I thought people were really nice when I went there as a kid. And I just wanted everything to kind of be like that. So I don't know what they're talking about when they send me these weird messages. I think they're trying to make people hate me. So if you're watching the news, watch me. I don't want to harm anybody or anything like that. Okay, so I was looking at uh, jobs on Whole Foods, which is I think it's becoming my plan A at this point for jobs going forward. So I don't, I'd be really lucky if I got a job at Whole Foods. It's a really nice store. They have good quality food, good quality service, and everything. And if I could be a part of that operation, it'd be pretty cool. And I was reading about the benefits, and they seem to have some pretty nice benefits, and it would be uh, good money that I could help bring into my family and to myself. And I started seeing pictures of Old Man of Store in Scotland, and I was like, oh man, maybe that's some sort of crazy omen or something, some sort of sign that says you can be the old man at the store and you can last a long time in that job. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So, uh, I'm looking into that, and if that doesn't work, then library, which I'm doing the classes, can be my backup plan. And I think one of them's my number one plan, one of them's my backup plan at this point. I kind of think Whole Foods is my number one, and library is number two because of the schizophrenia. But okay. I tried a salad at Sprouts, and it was really good for energy. I have been eating meat because the people that are doing this program want me to eat meat a lot. And the meat has been good for staving off hunger, I guess I could say. But the problem is I'm very sluggish. I don't get enough nutrients with like salads and fruit and vegetables and stuff. So I yesterday I was feeling a little nauseous, like I've been eating too much meat or whatever. So I decided to eat a salad, and I immediately perked up and I felt a lot better. The problem with this salad though was that the nuts had like a sugar coating on them. So I ended up getting hungry later. So I'm gonna go back to the other way of eating, but definitely need to make sure I eat vegetables. I have a little vegetable salad that I eat, like a tomato, cucumber, or bell pepper and cucumber, bell pepper tomato salad with a little feta cheese, and it's just like a 1 tablespoon of dressing, so it's not that much dressing. And I got to make sure I eat that on a regular basis if I'm gonna be eating this meat. And I guess this is what I got to do for the time being, so they don't burn anybody down. Uh, okay. Sometimes it's embarrassing that DC and Hollywood are like obsessed with me when this is what I am. I'm not that crazy of a guy. I have some ideas, I guess. I put out this slop, and they tell me it's slop, and uh, I don't know what to say about it, but it's kind of embarrassing. Like they want me to be some sort of crazy thing, and it's like I'm not really any sort of crazy thing, guys. I'm just this. So it's like, so it's embarrassing that Washington D.C. and Hollywood are obsessed with me, and this is, for all intents and purposes, this is what I am. All right, so I was gonna get into some ideas for vehicles for politics or whatever. So like in politics or in intelligence agencies, they create little operations or events or something, and these events are vehicles to achieve a particular political agenda. And what I was going to talk about is there's secondary and latent purposes. Oftentimes, this is what I talk about, the multifacetation of a vehicle that they create. And sometimes this vehicle could just be an idea or a talking point or something. Sometimes it can be a psychological operation, an event, a false flag, a war. You know, okay, so like, and then in these vehicles, there is like a kind of some potentially like somebody can be thinking that the vehicle is for one agenda when the vehicle actually operates for a secondary or latent agenda. And this is what I call like the red dye number three. Like what they were talking about on the news the other day, and it's like, this red dye number three is like, so you think you're eating hot Cheetos. Like, hey, we got this bag of hot Cheetos. We want to go out there, promote this bag of hot Cheetos. You eat the bag, you eat the Cheetos. It's all good. Just eat these Cheetos. You're going to have a good time. And it turns out that the red dye number three gives you cancer. So it's like, you thought you were eating some sort of just food or with something. And as it turns out, you were inhaling cancer chemicals. And, uh, Iraq, as an example of what I'm talking about, you take a look at something like the Iraq War, and like people within the government thought like, oh, we're fighting a war for democracy, and we're going to bring democracy to the Middle East, and it's going to change the Middle East and revolutionize everything in the Middle East and everything. And you will have new uh, a new day in America, and energy independent, like just all the various things. And as it turns out, it's actually something else. And what I believe is that the Iraq War, with Colin Powell holding up the vial and putting out the big lie, and then it came out like, oh, this was a big lie, that it was all reference to Germany, and that what they were saying is that Iraq itself functioned as Germany. Like, we attacked Germany in World War II, and what they're saying is that uh, I think some of the propaganda that emanated out of the Iraq War was conditioning people to question World War II and say, hey, we thought we were the good guys, and then we're sitting here lying to get into a war, and then who does that kind of thing? I thought America was like the good guys, and then it makes you, and then 9/11 and everything is a reference to Pearl Harbor, that the FDR potentially let Pearl Harbor happen, and there's all these things called on the internet called lie hop and my hop, and let it happen on purpose or make it happen on purpose. And I could go into greater detail into this in another segment, but like, I just think it was all part of an operation, what NATO now calls cognitive war, on groups of people and individuals, and it's like this latent. It's like a vehicle for it was a vehicle for democracy, but it actually functioned as a vehicle to question World War II. And now here we are in 2024, and we have like an undermined democracy, and a guy that loves Hitler's generals is coming into power for a second time in Trump. And so you see, like, it kind of undermined our own democracy while it was supposedly championing democracy. So people thought they were fighting a war for democracy, or people in the government or something. So, but they were really eating red dye number 3, and they were positioning Nazi Germany to be like a victim, like Iraq was a victim to the United States. It made people think like, well, maybe Nazi Germany was a victim. And if you followed the propaganda on the internet, it was all kind of connected to the propaganda coming out of the war. And I started noticing this pattern. And as I noticed that pattern, I started having the schizophrenia outbreak and stuff like that. And so anyway, so I wanted to talk about that today, and I guess that's about it for me this morning. So yeah, so you know, uh, hope everybody has a good day, and my day's going pretty well. I'm starting to get back into my normal routine of things. I actually ate a brownie last night for dessert. I haven't had dessert in months, and so probably not a good idea, but it kind of demonstrates that they decide to do things, and what I do in my house is not really relevant, but like, they coordinate activities on what I do. So, okay, thank you for listening, and I'll let you go, and goodbye.